Greetings!
And welcome back to Cobweb Cottage. Wow, it feels like so long ago since we said that here.
Yeah, it's been a while and a lot of things have happened since we were away over the winter.
So we thought it'd be nice to sit down with a cup of tea and catch you all up on the chaos that we have been going through.
Life can be overwhelming, so the best thing you can do is to gather around and sit down with a nice cup of tea and let's do a retelling.
That sounds lovely. And in case you're new here, my name is Lindsay.
And I'm Jonas.
And we would love if you would like to stick around and subscribe and join our Cozy Cottage Club here. Cheers.
Cheers.
So where do we even start, Jonas?
Perhaps when we got a message that made us think that we maybe had lost everything we had.
Yeah.
And we were about almost 3,000 miles away, so we couldn't really do anything about it either.
So we were in California visiting family when we got the message from our landlord that in the cottage it had been freezing here in the winter in New York, and one of the pipes for our heating pipes had burst and water was gushing into the cottage and out of the cottage.
So when you saw the message, what went through your head?
Oh my goodness, my heart just stopped. We had just been seeing all the wildfires going on in California. Thankfully my families were all safe, but it was just so shocking to see people losing their homes. And when we got the news from our landlord, we thought for a little while that we had, almost lost everything, that we would have to look for a new home.
My first thought was, I went through everything that we have on the floor, and I happen to have a lot of original artwork. Yes. So I thought to myself that I lost all those that dates back so many years.
Yeah.
And all the
priceless
antique furniture we have too.
I thought our furniture was ruined. I just couldn't even imagine the water damage. It's always been one of my biggest fears. So we didn't know how bad it was yet. And our landlord just let us know what the situation was. We just had to come to terms with really quickly how we were going to feel about all of our things possibly being ruined or having to look for a new place to live. So we're so thankful that our landlord found out what was happening and was able to turn off the water before it got, totally out of control. I think he saved it just in time. All of our carpets were really wet, so he had to pull all them up, and there was this really big wool rug that we had in the living room that was completely soaked, but he said actually kind of saved some of our stuff because it soaked up all the water. It is now sitting outside in the garden because it is so wet with a big tarp over it.
And it's very heavy.
It's really heavy. I have no idea how we're going to
we have
clean
to be
it, or
more than one person to lift that.
It might just become part of the garden this year. We don't know. So we didn't know if we were going to have to rush back to New York to help out and cut our family trip short, or actually our landlord ended up telling us that it was better for us to stay in California and he was going to take care of it. We are so grateful that he did so much hard work moving all of our furniture around, replace the pipes and the carpet. Overwhelming to know that all of your stuff was being moved around without you being there. It made it easier to turn it off and not think about it because we were spending time with family and our twin nieces in California. So to stay longer and spend more time with them was actually a real blessing. Before we made our journey back to New York, our landlord had prepared us saying that, the carpet was replaced in the one room and he hadn't put everything back exactly how it was because he knew that we would know where everything went. After our overnight flight, and we had how many hours of sleep did we have?
Well, I didn't sleep anything.
Yeah, barely anything. Finally getting back to the cottage, you just want to lay down, right? You just wanted to sleep.
Take a long nap.
We'll show you a photo of what our bed looked like when we came back. It was just piled with all of our stuff. It was just like somebody had taken the cottage and flipped it upside down, shook everything up, and put it back.
Also, we had left before Christmas, so we had a lot of Christmas decorations mixed in all this mess too. Yes. The Christmas tree was in the bathtub.
So I have to admit, I was so overwhelmed. I just cried and cried and cried. It was so Yeah, I was just so tired, so sad. So coming back here was just a real shock.
So we're gonna show you exactly how we put things together from chaos to cozy. But this is a good opportunity for us to say a heartfelt thank you to this video's sponsor, Birch Living.
Birch Living creates mattresses and other bedding products that are crafted from responsibly sourced materials, including organic cotton, organic wool, and 100% natural latex. Birch mattresses are free from polyurethane foams, which can release harmful off-gassing, and they are constructed without fiberglass, ensuring a safer and healthier sleep environment.
For us, sleeping comfortably is an essential part of slow living and a top priority for a healthy lifestyle. Especially after a long flight or late hours of work, it's so nice and rewarding to know that the place that you rest your head is a place that you can trust. We always seek for natural bedding products to surround ourselves with, just knowing that so many hours of life is spent in bed.
We selected a new mattress topper since we wanted to add a little more comfort to our bedroom. Birch Living is the only company that truly aligns with our needs. They are a company that is committed to using materials that passed rigorous testing to achieve the highest standards. Their goal is to always have their top quality and our safety in mind.
And that is something I can rest my head on.
For the very first night sleeping on our new mattress topper, we felt the comfort and pressure relief making a noticeable difference. Waking up with sore backs used to be part of our routine, but with Birch Living, our backs have felt better than ever, and we wake up feeling more refreshed, like a breath of fresh air.
We highly recommend you to try Birch Living for yourself. And did you know that every mattress comes with 100-night sleep trial?
That's more than 3 months to ensure that you love it. Birch delivers your mattress straight to your door for free within the US and offers in-home setup too.
Wow, that's great for people like you and me who live small and, what should we do with the old mattress?
And they offer mattress removal. Isn't that wonderful?
We seriously love our new Birch mattress topper, and we really think that you will too.
I had no idea what a difference a mattress topper makes. I feel like a completely new person when I wake up in the morning. And it's so cozy and comfortable. And guess what? Birch's Sleep Awareness Month sale is now live. Upgrade your sleep and head to birchliving.com/charminglife to get 25% off your new mattress.
Once again, thank you Birch Living for sponsoring this video. Isn't it wonderful how a good night of sleep can make such a difference to the next day?
Oh yes, things can feel a lot brighter the next morning. So we were away for about 2 months and we've been back for about a month. And it's taken that long to even get things back to kind of a normal order again. It's not just the cleanup, we still have work to do. We have taxes to file, doctor appointments. I know in our videos we share a lot of very relaxing, beautiful moments of cottage life, which can be true. But I think the reality sometimes is that it is a lot of work to get it to feel like that, because there's always something like this happening after one of our trips. Whether we're going to California or Sweden, when we come back, we always have some huge mess.
Something. And normally we had mice that have a party.
Yeah.
or like mildew.
Yes, we've struggled with that. So we've experienced a lot of different issues while living here and when we've come back from trips, but I think this one was the hardest one to face yet. It was just so overwhelming to see all of your possessions just everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just kind of makes you take a harder look at everything that you own. You realize everything you have is a responsibility. And so we have just been trying to figure out our mindset with all this. Don't you think some of the hardest part of all this too has just been that it has felt kind of a very lonely, gloomy process?
The animals outdoors haven't really woken up yet. So we didn't really have Tibby to greet us, or
Tibby the chipmunk.
Like many of the birds have been quiet too. So, it's always like small things that, adds to the festivity in the daily life.
The coziness of living in a cottage. Also, a lot of our indoor plants did not make it through the freezing cold temperatures that were here this winter. But we're very grateful to have this roof over our head. We don't want to take that for granted, but it doesn't mean that it's not a lot of hard work to get a vintage cottage feeling cozy again.
I must say also that to see everything that you own pretty much spread out makes it sometimes easier to, downsize a little bit, because that's something we have to, face every time in this cottage to have space for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And just to me, coming back, seeing everything spread out, made me realize that, wow, do I have this much stuff?
Yeah.
And you kind of get a better view of, do I really use that? I didn't even know I had this or that. Because, have it in boxes and, shelves, it always looks cuter. You can make it look cute because you don't know what's inside the boxes. But it really helped, I think, to get back on track, to see everything, at once, spread out.
It was definitely a forced spring cleaning, decluttering, and we had no choice but to go through everything just to get things back in order and move all our furniture back into place. And I felt really embarrassed how we had left the cottage because we kind of left in a hurry. We wanted to put Christmas decor away, but we didn't before we left. So sorry to our landlord that he had to deal with all of our stuff, but he surprisingly said that we were very organized and we could be professional organizers. I did not expect him to say that.
We do have a good eye for finding space for everything.
Every home is different. Every person who lives there is different, has different needs, and those needs constantly change. And I think for us, we get really busy with projects over the holidays. And when you live in 500 square feet, you just do what you got to do to get all these things done with all of our different things for your artwork or videos. Sometimes things get a little out of control. So this is the time of year where we can try to get back on top of things, free up some space, physically and, emotionally, to feel like it's a cozy home again. Because when you work at home and do everything at home, sometimes it feels more like a studio office than a home.
Do you live in your workspace or do you have your workspace in your home?
Exactly. So our mission has been to make our home feel like a home again. So we're going to take you along for the different things we've been doing, and it's still a work in progress, but we're getting there.
And I also have to say, when we first saw the cottage being this all crazy, the first thing we thought was not to, take the camera and film.
There's a few photos we might share more on Patreon, but we're going to show you kind of where we are now and how we're going to keep making things cozy for springtime. It's very exciting. This little cottage has been our home for 7 years now, and along the way we've learned how to make the most of all its small and quirky spaces. Last year, after the mice situation, we deep cleaned and replaced our box spring with a platform bed frame, finally giving us a bit of extra storage. Without a linen closet, we used to store all our blankets and sheets in suitcases, but when we traveled, we had nowhere to put them. Now we keep them in bins under the bed along with other storage items. So in a strange way, I suppose we can thank the mice for encouraging us to switch to plastic bins, which actually might have saved a lot of our things from ruin after the pipe bursts. It's funny how life works sometimes, isn't it? Also, we had worried that raising the bed would make our tiny bedroom feel even smaller, but instead it's actually made it feel cozier. And let's be honest, it's much nicer not to find ourselves eye to eye with mice or spiders in the middle of the night. There's still so much we wish we could improve, but since we're renting, we focus on the little things that we can change. Fresh linens, delicate lace curtains, and a few seasonal decor swaps breathe new life into the cottage. Even something as simple as changing out the frames on the wall invites a bit of springtime magic inside. Last year, we sorted through our little library and let go of a whole box of books. Now our bookshelves feel lighter, with space to welcome new favorites that double as seasonal display pieces. We see our collection as a reflection of the classic stories that inspire us, and lately I've started borrowing paperbacks from the library instead of purchasing them, saving space while still enjoying some new reads. There's always tidying to do in this little cottage, especially since there aren't many places for clutter to hide. I often find myself sweeping away cobwebs, secretly wishing that the woodland critters would do their fair share of the cleaning. But still, there's something comforting in the rhythm of keeping a home in order. In our tiny kitchen, we recently did a declutter, rearranging to make space for the items that bring us joy, like our beloved teacups, teapots, and seasonal mugs. And organizing with baskets helps create a balance between charm and function. Once the kitchen is put to right, I can feel inspired again to make nourishing meals as a priority. When we first got back, it felt like the walls were closing in on us, so we quickly went through the whole house and decluttered a box of items and a bag of clothes. I didn't even think to film it, since I was just ready to let these things go with love. Now there's extra space for craft supplies and even some room to grow. I also cleared out a cabinet for Jonas's art supplies, since he needs a place to store and rotate his projects in our living room, where his desk sits in a cozy little corner. Maximizing space is always on my mind, and I love finding ways to organize things in a way that feels both functional and beautiful, whether it's repurposing cute packaging or bringing home thrifted finds. One of my long-standing projects has been my work desk cabinet, which I thrifted 2 years ago. It was meant to store our camera gear when we're not filming, so I wouldn't always feel like I was working at home. But over time, it became a catch-all for our tech and other things. One of the main issues was that a shelf was missing, something that had been on our to-do list for a while, and I'm so happy that now Jonas has made me one. With a fresh coat of snowdrop white paint, the cabinet feels completely refreshed. Snowdrops remind us that even before brighter days arrive, we can bring beauty into dreary surroundings. Now with everything neatly organized into pretty boxes that match the hand-painted designs on the cabinet, I can easily find a camera battery when I need one. The simple act of painting and organizing has made the space feel so much brighter, but now of course we want to repaint everything in the cottage. But for now, this little kitchen corner will do. With the cottage feeling much tidier, it's time for a little seasonal refresh. We often pride ourselves as being like little hobbits, surrounding ourselves with trinkets from our adventures. But over time, things tend to get a bit cluttered. So it's nice to take a step back and rearrange. We've always enjoyed a maximalist aesthetic, but in such a small space, we've had to embrace a bit of minimalism as well. Finding balance between the two is part of our personal vintage cottagecore style. Sometimes I love decorating simply, and other times I want our home to feel like a storybook cottage. So perhaps there's no real right or wrong way to do it, as you go year by year. Much of our seasonal decor finds a home in different spots throughout the year, while some pieces are tucked away in holiday storage boxes. We love rotating our possessions to make them feel new again. But we also don't limit ourselves from picking up secondhand treasures that would fit perfectly in the cottage. Decorating for spring always feels so revitalizing. It helps me feel in tune with the changing season, the energy of new life stirring all around us. Fresh flowers, lace curtains fluttering in the breeze, and the cheerful call of robins outside. All that's left is to brew a cup of tea and take it all in.
There is something so satisfying about a before and after transformation. Seeing a space go from chaos to cozy, from cluttered to calm, it reminds us that even the smallest changes can breathe new life into a home. Every season there's a new chapter in our cottage diary, a new opportunity to bring warmth and coziness back into our home. Sometimes it's the struggles, the messes, the little improvements that make it all the more rewarding. There's something about decluttering and refreshing a space that brings back inspiration. As we follow that creative spark, we inevitably make a bit of a mess, but that's part of the process. At the heart of it all, a home isn't just about the belonging inside it. It's about belonging, about creating a space where we can feel safe, inspired and at peace. And sometimes a little love is all it takes to turn a house into a home. To have a cozy home to create, dream and simply be in is such a gift. And that's what this little cottage has been for us. So with these bluebirds of happiness, a garden of peace, and a little yellow cottage of contentment, we hope to share that feeling with you. A reminder that beauty, warmth and joy can always be found in the simplest of places. If this art piece speaks to you, you can find it in our Etsy shop. So you too can bring a little bit of cottage charm into your own home.
So thank you so much for joining us here at Cobweb Cottage, where things are feeling so much cozier for springtime. And we just want to encourage you that with whatever you're going through, what obstacles and challenges, that step by step, it can get a little better each day.
Sometimes all you need is a good night of sleep and a cup of tea.
Yes.
And a listening ear.
We'll see you in another episode soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.